Good Tuesday morning. I'm meteorologist Jeff Gerber. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to take a look at your weather here in southeast Texas. We have some up and down temperatures remaining the rest of the week, and it looks like some cold mornings, some mild to cool afternoons coming up, and even a few showers popping up maybe today, but they're going to be very light showers, if not just some sprinkles, as the atmosphere is pretty dry out there. We have a disturbance coming by and kick up some clouds, but not too much in the way of rain for today. All right, let's get started with the rest of the day forecast. We're looking at temperatures raising up to around 60 degrees for this afternoon, maybe some lower 60s up in the lakes. A little bit more sunshine there right now. We'll drop off into the middle 50s by 6 o'clock and some 50s by 10 o'clock, maybe some 40s in the lakes by 10 o'clock for this evening. About a 20% chance of maybe a few isolated showers or sprinkles through the afternoon. But generally you can see some partly to mostly cloudy skies. Our allergy report, still medium on tree again today. We'll be around 30, low on mold, low on weed, and then nothing to talk about as far as grass. So I've seen a lot worse allergy reports. Not too bad out there as far as the allergy report goes. All right, let's take a look at some of our sky cams. Like I said, some areas are looking at mostly cloudy skies. A few other areas looking at partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. We'll start at our 12 News studio right here. We're looking off towards the east, towards downtown, which you can see there towards the left center of your screen. This camera brought to you by Mid-County Plumbing. And I don't know, I'd go partly to mostly cloudy there as we look towards downtown, off towards the east, as we have some high clouds kind of coming through, a few mid-level clouds as well. Now Jasper is looking at mostly sunny skies, just a few clouds there, partly cloudy skies up in the Jasper area on our Roofing 911 Live Skycam network. This camera is brought to you by Provalis. We got the camera turned off towards the west, so we're looking in kind of the other direction than we've been looking the last few mornings. So you can see a little bit more sunshine there, so probably a little bit warmer in Jasper as we get into the afternoon. Expecting highs there, maybe 62, 63, as opposed to maybe 59 or 60 here in the Triangle. We have a little bit more cloud cover. And we'll show you the big picture across Texas and why we're seeing some of that cloud cover here in just a little bit. We're going to switch over to a different camera. We'll look at Port Arthur, and this one sponsored by Market Basket. Once again, this is mostly cloudy skies down in Port Arthur. Not a ton of sunshine there as we look down towards the intercoastal, off towards the north. And yeah, just a little peak of blue there maybe here and there, but looking at mostly cloudy skies and maybe a few sprinkles here and there popping up through the afternoon, or a little bit of a light shower. We can see that through all of southeast Texas for today, but like I said, the coverage is not going to be much, maybe 20–30% going through the afternoon. All right, let's see if we can switch over to a different camera, check out what's going on, maybe here back over towards Orange. And you can see Orange right now, kind of a little bit of blue there, a little bit of cloudiness at the Horseman's Western Store in Orange. Seeing the highway being busy here as we head towards the lunch hour, as some big trucks and cars moving through Orange. It looks like they're moving through smoothly, no slowdowns or anything like that on I-10. Roofing 911 Live Skycam network currently showing 59 in Orange. Look at that humidity, 44%. So that just shows us the atmosphere is very dry. So even though we do have a disturbance coming through, trying to squeeze out a few raindrops, it won't be much. Just a few little bitty showers here and there as it's very dry out there. And then we'll look at Packer-La-Prairie in downtown Beaumont as we look at the Port of Beaumont with mostly cloudy skies. Once again, a little bit of blue, a little bit of sun trying to peek through. Currently showing 59 degrees downtown. Humidity at about 39%, so even drier there, at least looking at the humidity on this camera. And winds are out of the northwest at about 1 to 2 miles per hour. All right, let's take a look at temperatures right now. And officially in Beaumont, we're showing 55 in Port Arthur, 56 in Orange, 56 also in Kirbyville. Jasper's at 57, 58 in Woodville, and then Silsbee currently at about 54. 50s all across the region, from 53 in Conroe to 56 in Houston, 54 in Huntsville. DeQuincy's around 55 and 57 in Lake Charles. So most areas right there into the middle 50s right now. Here's what we're talking about as far as the clouds coming in and that upper level disturbance. You definitely can see the spin out here in West Texas, just to the south and west of San Angelo. This is moving east, and it's going to slowly trudge across the state today, and then eventually by tomorrow morning this should be east of us and clearing things out a little bit. Out ahead of it, there is some rain. You can see a batch of some rain just off towards the west, northwest of Houston. Now, this looks pretty impressive on radar. Looks like maybe some heavy rain. Now, once it gets over towards us into this little bit drier air, that will thin out a little bit. That's why we're only expecting some light rain, maybe some sprinkles as it really runs into that dry air, and we won't see a ton of rainfall with this. And there's not much with it all across the state. You can see a few lines of some showers here and there. That's about it as it pushes off towards the east. So we'll continue to watch it as we go through the afternoon, and like I said, don't be surprised if you're driving along, you might see a few sprinkles. You have to run the windshield wiper a little bit here or there. Let's check the rest of the country real quick as we look across the U.S. Look at this big area of cloudiness coming in from Canada. This is our next cold front that's going to come through tomorrow. That colder air is already spilling into places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota. Out ahead of it, some of this is not rain but snow up there through parts of the Dakotas going into Nebraska. Looks like the west coast is pretty dry, not much going on there. We have our storm over Texas, and then the east coast right now is also fairly dry, not much going on there. And then we're getting some lake effect snows through parts of Michigan for this morning. Looks like heading over to maybe New York State, northern parts of Ohio, seeing some snow out there for this morning. A few winter weather advisories up into parts of northern Wisconsin as well. So there is some activity, especially across the northern tier of the U.S. Like I said, that cold air is heading our direction. Also heading over towards Florida. They're expecting some cold mornings over in Florida as we head towards, looks like maybe Thursday into Friday. Here's our current radar, and you can see some of the rain off towards the west and maybe a few of these spotty showers popping up here in southeast Texas, but a little bit more widespread from Houston up to Conroe, Huntsville. Like I said, that'll thin out a little bit as it gets a little bit closer. Plus, this is from the radar and over in Lake Charles, so that beam gets a little higher as it gets out there, so it makes it look a little bit more fuzzier. Let's take a closer look at maybe some of these little spotty showers that might be popping up here and there across southeast Texas. Like I said, sprinkle, a little bit of a light shower. There's not much out there, and we won't see too much coverage as we go towards the afternoon. So like I said, you see a little sprinkle on your windshield, don't be surprised. All right, our futurecast showing some of these light shower sprinkles going through the area as we go through the rest of the day. By this evening, things look like they'll calm down a little bit. That area of low pressure, that's going to be tracking to our north, and eventually by tomorrow morning, that should clear us out a little bit as it moves off towards the north. We'll get some cooler air in here. We'll be in the 40s, not the 30s like we've seen the last couple of mornings, but 40s, and then we'll warm up out ahead of that cold front tomorrow. I think we'll be even warmer. This will be around 66, 67. The front goes through, and then we'll see some colder air push in here as we head towards, it looks like Thursday, with highs back into the 50s, and we'll see some lows in the 30s again. So our forecast along the coast today: north winds at 5 knots, seas about a foot, high tide at 248, mostly smooth on the inland lakes and bays. We'll only see that one high tide, and our sunset tonight's at 5:37. Water temperatures in the middle 60s out there into the Gulf. So forecast for today reads like this: mostly cloudy, 20% coverage of a little bit of light rain, temperatures into the lower 60s, and then for tonight we'll fall back into the 40s. It's going to be chilly, but not as cold as it has been. Partly cloudy skies and a little bit of a southwesterly wind between about 3 and 8. Like I said, the front goes through tomorrow. Before it goes through, though, we'll get up to 67. You can see the numbers falling off behind the front. 39 and 56 for Thursday. Friday, another morning in the 30s, but we warm up again into the upper 60s. Another front goes through, and then you can see we fall back into the lower 60s for Saturday, Sunday, and then upper 50s for Monday. That 60 on Sunday might be closer to 58 or 59. And we've got a couple of cold mornings there back into the 30s for Sunday into Monday. So kind of up and down as far as temperatures. Mornings are going to be chilly or cold. You'll need the jackets one way or the other, or a coat one way or the other every morning. The afternoons, like Wednesday and Friday, it'll be a little bit warmer there as